What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal, and we just got back from our trip yesterday from St. Augustine. It was a good little vacation. We got engaged, and we met with some junk haulers in Orlando on the way, and we just kind of talked about business a little bit, which is a great way, I think, to learn from others, is to meet with them in person, talk about business, talk about the things you've had to deal with and how you overcame them. It's a great way just to get a thorough insight on either things you've dealt with in the past, but now you have a new perception on it, or you may learn something that you may need in the future. Either way, I think other business owners that are open to talking is the best source. Now, when we came back, we immediately went and did a pretty big size estimate about 2 hours later for a duplex cleanout. And then we had somebody call and ask if we could come out tonight and give a full truckload service for some stuff they had left over after they had moved. They needed to be out tomorrow morning for the closing. And of course, I'm not going to say no. So we went out at 6:30 at night, banged out the full job. And then this morning we went ahead and banged out a medium-sized job, went to the dump, and now we're here. Now, while I was gone, I had two different people reach out to me on Instagram. It's a very common platform. And both of them were asking in regards of how do I handle situation X because I do it solo. So if you don't know, I used to be a former mover before I did junk removal, and I've been doing my business solo ever since. It's been about 2.5 years now, and I only use help when I really need it. This year I've been using it a little bit more often just because I'm trying to alleviate some of the pressure from myself, but for the most part I always ran my jobs solo. Now of course I have the experience to handle majority of these jobs, but that's not always the case for a lot of people. And if you're one of those people, I want to go ahead and give you two alternatives that you can kind of work on to help yourself in that situation. And I want to mention a great source for marketing when you're heading into summertime, depending on your location, but for the most part, this applies to everybody. And why I like to focus on this one source versus others because of the time of year. So when it comes to doing solo operating work, the main things we end up dealing with is obviously, if you have a big piece, how do you move it by yourself? You have a huge couch, you're in a 3-story townhouse, you're in an apartment building with stairs, you're in a house and it's just a huge piece, it's in the bedroom with tight hallways. You know, how am I going to get this out without banging up the wall? How am I going to get out in general? I can't even lift it up. All right, this is a very common thing for a lot of people, and people assume junk removal is super easy and you just go in and, pull something out, drag it out, it doesn't matter what happens to the piece. But that's not the only problem you have to worry about. The piece, sure, nothing matters what happens to it, right? But you have to be very cautious of these surroundings. You can't just go around scratching up the floor, scratching up the wall, scratching the stairs, the railing, smacking windows with feet of couches, right? You still have to pay for all those damages. Yeah, the piece can get banged up a little bit on the way out, but not the surroundings. So you still want to utilize those moving techniques and proper handling skills, not only protect yourself from getting hurt, but to protect the surroundings so you don't have any incidents and have any claims on your insurance. And if you don't have insurance, then you're going to have to pay for it out of pocket unless you want to have a really bad situation with a client. So, I recommend these two things. The first thing is to invest in good quality equipment that's going to make your life easier. For example, behind me, these are speed packs. This is a giant box. And the good thing about it is I can fill it up with a bunch of stuff and roll it out to the truck. It takes half the amount of time instead of sitting there bagging everything up and making multiple trips. And it just speeds up everything. Now, that's not necessarily a skillful tool, but what is would be a good quality hand truck, a good quality four-wheeler dolly, a good quality mattress bars to attach to a dolly. That is a huge game changer. Maybe an appliance dolly if you're handling a lot of big bulky items, or learn how to use a ratchet strap with a regular hand truck if you can't afford an appliance dolly. Good thing about appliance dollies though is they normally have a kickstand that pops back, so if you're pulling out, let's say, a really big refrigerator, you can help alleviate some of the weight until you get out to your truck. But for the most part, you can always just use a ratchet strap if needed. But investing in these kind of tools and equipment are going to make it not only doable, but much easier if you're going to be running things solo. Mattress bars, for example, I've talked about them on the channel time and time again. I get asked about them on almost every video, and I've told you guys where to buy them from. But mattress bars are these two little U-shaped metal bars that attach onto a four-wheeler, and create a U. Right? So you have your dolly right here, and then you have these two bars that stand up. Between these bars, you can fit anything between it. So usually mattresses fit in between it. You can put tabletops, glass tops, anything that will fit in the middle, and then you can roll it instead of having to carry or drag it. It makes things a lot easier, especially if you have a big, bulky, thick, heavy king mattress. Game changer. So investing in proper equipment to help alleviate weight and take away human error from occurring. The next thing is to hire out 1099 help if you can't afford employees. Now, check with your state and your insurance companies and make sure you're not crossing over any boundaries here, but for the most part, you should be able to hire out somebody and give them a 1099 once they surpass $600, and then send it off to your accountant, and they'll handle everything at the end of the day so that you don't have to worry about getting screwed over with payroll taxes. Now, the good thing about 1099 employees is they're not obligated to work with you. You don't have to get insurance for them. You don't have to get workers' comp for them. You can pay them cash, check, Zelle, whatever you want to do, but you use them when you need them. So let's say I only need a guy a couple times a month for those more difficult jobs. Okay, I'm going to have like 3 or 4 guys on retainer, and I'm going to use them when I need them. And it's just a great way to keep your costs low, but still have that extra help when necessary. And another thing you can do as well is to put a post out on Facebook or Craigslist and ask for former movers to teach you how to move stuff. Put on Facebook group on your local chat and say, hey, is anyone here a current mover for a professional company? I have a junk removal business. I'm kind of new to it, and I'm hoping somebody can help teach me some proper techniques with handling bigger, bulkier pieces. And then offer to pay that person 50, 60, 75, $100 for their time, and let them teach you little by little. I promise you, you're going to learn how to handle all these big pieces that if you watch my channel for a while, you've seen me take out some pretty big pieces on my own. That's going to teach you how to do that, and now you can overcome those obstacles that you deal with running solo, and it's going to make things a lot more cost effective in the future. And you're going to be limiting your potential risk of causing damage, which is a huge thing. So overall, it's a great way to just solve that problem, right? Better equipment, better skill set. Put those together, you're good to go. Now, when it comes to marketing, I like to push for my realtors towards summer. And the reason why is typically, for the majority of the US, summertime is moving season. That is the busiest time for moving. And junk removal also happens to be pretty busy in the summer. And kind of the reason behind it is not only do people have more time because kids are out of school, but most people need junk removal when they're moving in or out, right? People buy a house, there's stuff left over. People are leaving, they want to leave stuff behind. Somebody just bought a foreclosure, there's a bunch of crap in it, they need to get it all out. There's more evictions because now there's more supply and more demand. You have increase in rents. So summertime is usually busier. So I like to push for realtors around that time because I know that they're going to be out there selling and buying all those houses for their clients. So that is something I like to push for close to summer. I don't want to do it 5 months from now and maybe a couple of guys use me here and there and then they forget about me, or they just never learn about me, right? I rather do it right before they really need me, so that way it's fresh in their mind that I'm here. And then make sure that once you get a job for them, you follow your P's and Q's and you're as great as you can possibly be, because then you can get repeat business. You want to make sure that they had an effortless service with you. So those are the 2 things I wanted to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and clean out my truck and trailer because it looks disgusting after driving 7 hours. And I'm going to continue on with my day. And I will see you guys later on in the week. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone is having a busy May. And I will see you next time.